Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Mission Nutrition Devlog. We are going to keep it quick today because I'm getting extremely busy and I don't want to spend 2 entire days editing. 2 weeks ago we set some goals for animation, all of which were completed. They did take more time than I have expected them to, obviously, but they turned out really cool. I'm going to show you in a bit here. But before that, let's talk about the game of the week. This time around we're playing a game that's very special to me. We're playing Borderlands 2, which is my favorite game of all time, and there are plenty of reasons for that. I could genuinely go on for hours about why I love this game and why it had so much influence on me, but to keep it simple, this game perfectly combines RPG elements into an FPS game, and for me it has more replayability than any game out there. It's the only game aside from World of Warcraft that I put over 1000 hours into, and I don't regret a single one of them. So back to our game. We did plenty of animating this week, and for the fact that I had close to no experience, I'm very happy with the results. Let's go over the UI animations first. I had to piece apart the health bar quite heavily. The way we did the HP in our older game is that we created a border inside which there was a rectangle, and this rectangle kept getting cut off based on the HP percentage. It's gonna be a bit more complicated here, as I also have multiple animations and you only have flat 6 HP. I divided the health bar into the frame, which is the fancy outside, the glass fill, which has a lowered alpha so that it's see-through, and at last the health fill, which in this case acts like the rectangle. The first thing I animated was the hit effect, which is just a simple shake and color flash. The shaking means it's gonna move slightly, so in order to not overlap with different animations, I have to find a way to not display multiple at a time. I had an idea that I'm simply gonna hide the entire UI while this animation is being played. Next, I animated the flasks. For these, I made them transition into a shine to make the color uniform, then the liquid gets quickly drained and it's accompanied by some flying particles which give it a nice touch, I think. The last animation left to do for the UI is the dash refill animation, which I think I mentioned in one of the earlier episodes. This is just a quick visual cue because your dash won't have any icon or a timer, but it's really important to the gameplay. I'm really happy with this one. I managed to recreate it really close to what I envisioned originally. Now for the mobs. First I did the spawn animations. Every mob will come out of its own portal at the start of a round. This was probably the longest one as I haven't found a way to detail the gradient more efficiently. And while it's open, I made a spawn-in animation for each mob, which is just a transition from a flash to its original color. And a great tip for beginner animators and Sprite, by the way, you can mark a sequence of frames with a tag, and this is super helpful to not mix up your frames or play only a certain portion. Most of the animations I'm doing are 12 FPS by the way, and some of them are 16 FPS. After this, I did the walk plus attack animations for all of the mobs, and this was by far my favorite part. Starting with the sentry, I decided it's gonna be stationary, so I made an idle animation. A quick little bop up and down along with the waving tentacle. I thought I'd have more trouble making this, but it ended up being really easy. The way I made it smooth is I simply mirrored the tentacle and added some in-between frames. For the attack, it opens the mouth and does 3 spits, so that's 3 bullets. I tried to add some anticipation and force by giving the head a shake and making it retract its tail from the recoil. I don't have much animation knowledge, but it's not solely about the visuals. You also need to give a lot of thought to physics like the speed, squash, stretch, impact, and so on. Next was Crawley, and this guy moves even more adorably than he looks. Initially he was meant to move like a spider, but I went with the flow and he ended up with a clumsy wallop. The attack animation was a lot more complex though. Quick recap, this guy is gonna follow you until he comes in range of his attack, and when he does, he's gonna push up his legs and quickly slide across the floor trying to ram into you. When the charge ends, he stands back up. So I divided this attack into 3 separate animations, and while he's sliding, the animation will loop, because I can't tell how long he's gonna slide for. Again, I tried to add some anticipation before the jump, and I also gave him some stretch to look a bit goofy. The slide is just a quick loop with sparks coming off of his horn, and the end is him jumping up again, but reversed, and the whole thing looks really satisfying altogether. Cannon Boy was up next, and this is the walk animation. For the attack, he's gonna shoot a projectile upwards out of your vision, which will then fall and do damage in an AoE. There was a lot of squash and stretch in this one. If you recall how this guy works, he shoots things by sucking in air and building pressure, which I included in the animation when the cavity puffers. The shot is supposed to be extremely powerful, so I made him jump up slightly with the impact, with his tippy toes in the air. The last mob is the jiggler, as I called him. The walk cycle is slightly weird. I was originally gonna make him kinda swing the sacks left to right, but I ended up only squishing them instead. This entire mob is kind of disturbing, honestly. Either way, this guy will position straight horizontally or vertically to you, based on which side is the closest, and shoot 4 bullets in every direction. I wanted him to do this pretty quickly, as you're gonna be faster and he'll need to reposition really often, so I made his attack animation shorter than the other ones. Again, some slight anticipation with the puffer. There's no need for much here, as these projectiles will be a bit slower, and generally, this mob is more so just here to cause extra chaos. Before we move on to the last thing, I gave all of the mobs a static def sprite, which is them laying down with a monochrome filter. The animation will be done in the engine for this, as I want them to be kind of thrown back when they die based on the direction in which they got shot. So the last thing to do was all of the player animations. This is just a simple idle animation with some hover up and down. As for the walk cycle, he doesn't need one, as you'll only leave a blue plasma trail behind when you move, which will hopefully be done with particles inside the engine. But if not, it's either going to be static or I'll reuse the idle animation, both of which should still look good. Then I gave him a def sprite as with all of the mobs. Here I made some changes, so you lose the device, you have some hanging cables, and your arm lays flat on the ground. And that's it for today. In the last video I mentioned we'll try to start building the game in the engine, but again I ended up being a bit too busy. There will be no video next week because I'm graduating, but I won't be doing nothing. I'm not making a plan, so there are no specific goals until the next video, but I'm gonna try to do as much stuff as possible. So the progress in episode 5 is gonna be a surprise. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as that really motivates me in making these. And see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks.